Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football. I'm Harper LeBel, along with Joey Clinkscales, and you're watching the 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Show. And today we're going to talk about Tennessee edge rusher Josha Josephs. He's a 6'3", 242 pounder. Gosh, he's lightning quick, long arms. And Joey, we're going to talk about him in a way that we look at most of the athletes. We're going to break down a lot of things about his game and what he excels at. Here's a kid from Kennesaw, Georgia. So he's just down the road from where I am. He ends up going to Tennessee, which is right where you are. So we have some accommodations here that are really neat about great high school kid, four-star athlete, got a chance to play at North Cobb High School, gets over 100 tackles in his career during his junior or senior year, can really make a difference. He can get to the quarterback. He's got outstanding speed. And for him to go to Tennessee the way that he did, and a lot of expectations, let's get it in lineup right away. And he did a little bit, but then things started slowing down to him. But my goodness, his last year there at Tennessee, what a difference it's made. At the combine, Joey, he was the number one guy in his span, his broad jump, his vertical. I know you use those types of things to talk about the power in your legs. And he's a little bit of a smaller body, but let's go over first and foremost what Joshua, excels at in your mind's eye, to where we're looking at one of the best picks in the draft if you're looking for a guy that can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at straight numbers from a production standpoint, you're not blown away because he only had 4.5 sacks this year, and I think he had 9.5 for his whole career. So those numbers don't blow you away. But what does blow you away from the standpoint of his athletic ability, you know that you watching the kid play, you see the quickness, you see the get off. He's got long arms. He plays well with his arm. He lacks power, and I think with added weight will come power. I don't have a bench number on him. I hope he benched, because if he didn't bench, that's going to tell you that's another telltale sign about his power. He's listed as a defensive end, but he's really just an edge rush guy. Now they do play him. He does have position flexibility because he can be an off-ball linebacker. They will line him up in space over number 2, the wide receiver, in zone coverage. So you do see that on tape. But the thing you like about this guy is his ability to rush the passer. He's got a quick get off. He can bend. He's got a short burst to the quarterback. You don't necessarily see a ton of long speed, but you don't have to, because of his ability to lock out, his ability to play with quickness, his ability to try to play with leverage at times. The thing about this player is he really needs to get bigger and stronger. Even if they're going to play him at linebacker, he needs to get bigger and stronger. But as a pass rusher, if he comes into the game on a third down and you have 5 rushers in the game, this guy has a chance to get to the quarterback because he's got quickness, he's got speed, and he can bend.
His arm length, hand size, his 40, a 4.7, 340, all are above average in many respects. You look at him here, he's got a physique that anyone would want to have. But as a football player, you mentioned the weight, Joe. He's only 240 pounds. If he goes against an offensive tackle at the NFL level, he's looking at everybody is going to be at least 300. And for run defense, is that a weakness that he can use his speed to be able to get around? Is that what he's going to have to rely on? Because you mentioned power is something that he may not have a tremendous amount of right at this moment.
No, it's going to be a weakness. I mean, he's the type guy right now that when they have drills in practice, every offensive lineman is going to want to line up against him.
Yeah, they
are,
right?
Especially on the run, in the run drills, because he lacks that power. And as a rusher, you don't see a speed to power move. You have to have variety as a rusher, and you don't really see speed to power. You see a lot of speed. You see a lot of quickness. He can win versus offensive line because he's got better feet. He can dip inside, get outside, get on the edge, and then get to the quarterback. So he can win that way. And even in the run game, he wins that way sometimes because he's got great feet. He's got great agility from that standpoint. And again, he's got some lower body explosion. You can tell that in the 10-9 broad jump, and then the vertical jump of 37, 38 and a half.
38 and a half, yeah. I mean, this guy, he can get up, right? He's very explosive. And those are some things that you would want to have, especially, if the quarterback's going to deliver the ball and he's far enough away, but he's looking in your direction and you can get up in the air and try to deflect it with your arm. But if your head is in the way too, or your shoulders, with that vertical, you might get pushed back. That's my love of offensive linemen, is when they get a guy in the air, that I'm taking you down.
Yeah.
Do everything I can.
And he's got 34.5-inch arms and a wingspan of 83 and 7'8". So, I mean, he's got a lot of physical traits that you love to see. I mean, he's got ideal physical traits for an edge rusher. But versus the run, if he's in a game on first or second down, you're looking for him. You're going to run at him because he just doesn't have the bulk and the natural strength right now to be effective versus the run, versus the 300-pound guys or that guard who's pulling around, who's looking for him because they know they're going to light him up. So these things in professional football, he'll need to get better, and it all starts from a strength perspective.
Yeah. Well, his explosion, you mentioned his leg strength and, his ability to close in on the quarterback and really go from 10 feet away, 3 steps, and get to the quarterback before he releases the ball. Some of the pictures that we're looking at here, I mean, he's obviously got some incredible speed and gosh, I'm thinking, a blitz situation, third down, and a passing situation as well. He's got a real chance to excel at the NFL level and be one of those guys that, he may be a one down guy. I'm not saying he is, but boy, on that one down, when you got to get to the quarterback, with that speed that he has, I think he has a clear-cut advantage. But what does he do on first and second down?
Yeah, I mean, he had a ton of pressures as a pass rusher. Again, the rundown situation for a guy that's built like this is going to be tough. So hopefully he'll go to an organization that has a plan for him, has a plan to get him stronger. And initially he'll go in as a pass down player, and hopefully his tool shed will increase, his toolbox will increase. He'll develop into a really good run player, and then when his contract is up, he'll be able to make a lot of money. I don't see this guy being a first round pick, and maybe not even a second round pick if teams see him as just a specialist. But he'll go by the third round because despite only having 4.5 sacks, which is low, he did have a ton of pressures this year. I think he's got 23 career pressures. So all those things, along with his measurables and his speed, you'll have a defensive line coach or a linebacker coach to say, hey, I can work with this guy. I can make this guy into a really good player. And it all depends on if he's got the motivation to want to get bigger and stronger, and not just live on the fact that, hey, I'm in the NFL now.
Well, you bring up some interesting points. Let's look at the dark side, if you don't mind me saying so. He's light, right, at 204, gain some weight. That there are some safeties that can play 240.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second, but yeah, he's light. You'll have safeties that will be in the 220, 230 range, depending on the system they're in. And again, this guy, he has system flexibility. I mean, he can play in a 34 defense as a outside linebacker, and then a 43 defense. He can play will, and you can walk him out and do different things with him. So there are a lot of things that this guy can do from an athletic standpoint, because he's a good athlete, because he's almost 6'4", because he's hopefully at that point, by the time the season starts, he's like 248 pounds to 250 pounds. So that gives you hope that this guy can go in and do some really good things and continue to learn and get better as a football player. I think I lost you, Harper. So I think we're still on the air. But again, this guy, I like a lot of things about him. And obviously he went to the University of Tennessee, so I like a ton of things about him. He is from Georgia, outside of Atlanta. He's played a lot of football in his career. So the things you like about him, the things that will help him develop into a good pro, all are dependent on his work ethic. If he's a hard worker, if he's willing to do the right things, if he's willing to dedicate his time into being a pro, because he's going to face a lot of pros day in and day out. So if he's willing to do those things to become a better pro, and not rest on the fact that I'm a high round draft pick, then he'll have a chance to. Again, every NFL player wants to get to that second contract, and the way that you make money, real money, generational money, is get to that second contract, get to that third contract. So it all depends on his attitude, his work ethic, his leadership ability, his toughness. So the production counts. He didn't have a ton of it from a pass rushing standpoint in college. He had enough of it to be noticed along with his athletic ability. So those are the things he'll have to improve on once he gets to the National Football League.
Well, Joey, you bring up an interesting point. You go into training camp, and I guess after draft day, you're going to end up in the building. You're going to deal with some coaches and some other folks. Obviously, you've mentioned that want to as an aspect that it's going to be up to this young man to be able to make some of the changes, get a little heavier, get stronger, be able to develop a second move. Mm-hmm. And instead of getting pressures, having him get the quarterback actually down on the ground. Those are all workable things, right? Those are all things that any coach would say, yeah, I'll work with you and let's get it done. You're going to be a guy that's fast enough. You're quick enough. And if you get smart enough, we've got some situations where we'd love to have you in. I think he's a coach's dream, even though he's got some things to work on in terms of the weight and the power. But there's also some great tools that he comes in with because of his speed and his agility to be able to make a move right away. Give me your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. There are very few finished products when they get in. So he's the guy. He's got the skill set. He's got the length. He's got the athletic ability that every linebacker coach or defensive line coach will covet. So he has those things walking in the door. Now, if he can get to 248, 250 pounds, if he can add strength to his frame, he's got really long arms. If he can learn how to play with those, if he can learn how to give a double move or another move as a pass rusher, because offensive linemen, they'll sit on that move. They'll know that if this guy's a power guy, I'm gonna put my hands in his chest. I'm gonna stop that first speed, and then I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna give my quarterback time while I'm waiting on his second move. So if he can develop as a pass rusher, because ultimately that's what he's going to get paid to do. That's how those guys get a lot of money. They develop pass rush move. They learn how to rush the passer. A lot of those guys coming in this draft are a lot more accomplished pass rushers than this kid is, but not all of them have the same physical traits that this guy has. So he's got a chance to go in the right situation. He can develop. Again, it comes down to his work ethic. What kind of worker is he? Is he tough enough? Is he willing to put in the extra hours? Is he willing to do the things that will not only make him a better player, but make his team better? Because if he becomes a better player, his team will automatically become better.
Yeah, I appreciate the insight, and I also would counter with, at 6'3", 240, at the college level, even at the SEC level, you were able to excel and stay on the field. That does change, though, at the higher level, because you're going to get everybody that's about 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", maybe in some cases 250, 270. Some guys are a little bit even heavier than that, the Pro Bowl level guys, but they're able to make a very powerful, quick move and be able to get to the quarterback on a consistent level and stay on the field. That's the most. Stay on the field, and that big contract that you were talking about from the second round, those are waiting for you right around the corner. Final thoughts, Joey, here on Josha Josephs, the defensive end out of Tennessee.
Interesting prospect. I mean, athletically, he's got everything you're looking for. He ran between anywhere between a 4.73 and a 4.68. He's got a 10.9 broad jump. He's got a vertical jump of 38.5. He's got 34.5-inch arms. He's got a 10 hand. He's got a 83 and almost 84-inch wingspan. So from the physical traits, he's got everything you're looking for. Okay, he's got to get bigger at 242 pounds. He's got to get bigger, and he's got to get stronger. But from a skill set perspective, he flashes the ability to get to the quarterback. With 4.5 sacks this year, you'd like to see more, but he flashes the ability to get to the quarterback. So if he's in the right system with the right coaching, and he's got the right demeanor, he should develop year by year and become have a chance to become a solid pro because of all the traits that he possesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And we wish him well for obvious reasons. We wish everybody well. You know, the draft and being a part of the NFL is a dream come true for so many. His wingspan, as you mentioned, his first step, his ability to get across the line of scrimmage. He's got a pass rush repertoire. He's got a lot of things that he can do that will allow him to get in training camp and have a chance to develop and really try it on the teammates that he has and be able to do it against others. And if he excels, the sky's the limit for him, especially gets a little bit bigger and obviously gets a lot smarter and learn how to play the game. He's Josha Josephs, 6'3", 240-pound defensive end and edge rusher. He's from Kennesaw, Georgia, and we wish him well. We wish you well. We want to say thank you for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you being a part of the NFL Prospect Show. This is the 2026 NFL Prospect Show on 100 Yards of Football. If you like it, please tell a friend and subscribe. We appreciate it greatly. And we're going to cough everything out of you, is what we're going to do. We appreciate you being